Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 2 of the Wildcard Draw. I'm your host, Matty Egan, and I just want to say welcome. We have got one hell of an episode 2 lined up for you. We're going to go on the journey of hip-hop and its culture and the evolution of how it sort of started for Australians or people that lived in Melbourne around about that year of 1994 to how it sort of evolved to all the rappers that are now household names and how we got to where we are now. And obviously with the huge evolution of technology, the internet, mobile phones, the amount of information that's readily available to us, how things have changed so much. But before we go on that little journey, let's talk about who's going to join us on this episode. We have got none other joining us from his studio in New York City, Kool Keith, the godfather of rap. And if that wasn't enough, he's actually given us the exclusive rights to release his new track titled Autographs on this very podcast. And then, to add a little cherry on top, after that, we're going to be joined by up-and-coming rapper, local artist from Melbourne, Eloquor, aka Donnie Pelshirtsy. This is going to be one hell of an episode that's going to also be able to give you a little bit of an insight into some great hip-hop and some tracks from Eloquor, as well as Kool Keith, and we're going to talk about some of the rappers that have taken us on this journey from 1994 to where we are now. So this is going to be one hell of a great episode, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's go. So the year's 1990, and I had a mate who had an older brother, which then allowed us to get on trams and trains around Melbourne and go to shopping centres and different suburbs where there was a good commercial area. Now, music stores were really popular back then. So you could purchase vinyl, you could purchase cassette tapes, you could purchase CDs. Just come out. CDs were like expensive and they were the newest thing and everyone was talking about them. So anyway, my friend's older brother purchased a whole heap of music that day, and I remember his brother lending me one of the cassette tapes. The cassette tape was called 100 Miles and Running by NWA, with an image of some dudes in sunglasses and beanies, and they were running. I took it home from school with the intention that we're just borrowing this cassette tape, which never got returned. And my brother and I would go into my dad's dining room, and my dad had a huge hi-fi system, which was broken into different sections. You had your double cassette tape player, you had a CD player, you had an amplifier with radio, and on top you would have the record player. So we've put the cassette tape in, press play, turned it up, listened to it once, twice, 3 times, to the point then that my dad comes into the dining room and says, "Turn that shit down," and he was not happy. Now, then Dad realizes that my brother and I are jumping up and down on his couches, screaming, "Fuck the police," because that's how addictive this track was. Little did he know that this was just the beginning. And then we turned it down, as he said, but then he understands, what are they listening to? He comes in and says, "What's this song about?" And it was the song "Just Don't Bite It," which I think anyone that understands rap music and this album knows what that song is about. But I don't want to get into that because it is definitely XXX. Mind you, there were warnings on the actual album saying explicit lyrics, but very controversial subjects and most certainly not appropriate for a 9 and 11-year-old boy. From that moment on, it's fair to say that my brother and I were absolutely addicted to gangster rap and hip hop. We absolutely loved it. The beats, the lyrics, the culture of it, and the urbanness, and just everything that it was. Not that we knew everything about it, because why these artists were talking about stuff was because that was how they were living, and they were also having a little bit of fun because they were young, and they were looking to become famous with their records. But over here, it was just sort of like, oh, okay, so they're singing, they're rhyming about that. And either way, it was just as addictive here as it would have been probably a little bit more passionate to people over in the United States. But yeah, that was my first hip hop gangster rap experience. So after having access to this cassette tape, I then started purchasing CDs. Public Enemy Apocalypse 91 was probably my second experience with rap or hip hop. And then I moved into Ice-T. And then from there, a little bit of KRS-One. But the Public Enemy and Ice-T, I played those albums a hell of a lot. From there, I also started to listen to Slick Rick and more NWA, and then with the breakout Ice Cube, and then Eazy-E. So then, because of the separation with their group, I listened to the individual artists, and then of course we all know that Dr. Dre is a household name, but he kind of really blew up around the 2000s. But nonetheless, we have to mention him. From there, I think 1994, it was a big change in sort of hip hop as well. You had, and this is where me and my mates really got into it, we had Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill, Snoop Dogg, and Warren G. These guys were sort of, as well as Ice Cube, bringing out hot albums at the time, and really started to sort of take over. And now that I've hit this year of 1994, I also want to talk about other things that were really changing that culture for us. And I'm referring to mainly here in Melbourne, Australia. I'm going to see the logos pop up around me. You had the Charlotte Hornets, because the NBA was huge. And this was the golden era for the NBA, with so many great players all trying to take down this one guy, Michael Jordan. But boy, was there some talent in the NBA. Also remembering that during this time, we did not have that much access to games over in the United States. So whatever we would get, or whatever the TV would play, or whatever movies came out, and we'll talk about the movies as well, we would just locked into. So we've now got the Charlotte Hornets logo. Here's another logo that popped up everywhere. The Dallas Cowboys. That star was on so many bomber jackets that we then started to understand a little bit about American football or the NFL. Still having zero access to actually what's going on in the United States, because the NBA was the only thing that we would play over here. You pretty much back then had zero NFL. But somehow the Dallas Cowboys would make it over here, and Emmitt Smith. You know, these were kind of two things that everyone knew about around that era. What about this logo? Stussy. This was a surf culture / urban Jamaican Rasta style of clothing that everyone was wearing. So now we've got, these three logos, but don't forget there's one more that we've all got to talk about around this era. It was cross colors. So we were then wearing baggy pants. We were wearing basketball jerseys. We were wearing, NFL bomber jackets. And then, of course, the baseball cap. So we didn't even know what teams were cool or understood them, but everyone loved the New York Yankees cap. Everyone loved the Cleveland Indians cap. Even though the Oakland A's, but no one really knew what it meant, but it looked cool. You wanted a cap, and this was pretty much the style and genre of our culture on what all the kids were wearing, especially if you had a casual clothes day at school. So now we've sort of hit that area. We understand a lot about hip hop, and it's sort of taken over major cities in Australia by storm. Then you had the movies that followed it as well. So I've mentioned Spike Lee. Spike Lee's been big on He Got Game, Clockers, and then if we moved into these other two films that were iconic, Boyz in the Hood, and then a little bit later on, Menace to Society. Now, these were real life struggles that were happening in the United States about socio-demographics. But over here, we thought it was cool. Not that we thought that people dying or anything like that was cool, but we were just taken over by this type of movement and clothing and culture. And even though it was based on violence and inappropriate lyrics, these artists were rapping about what's actually happened in their life. And there's only one way to say it. we just wanted to be as cool as them, but we weren't. And I guess you could say that we were a bunch of tryhards. But that's what we listened to. That's what we liked. And, you know, Australia's does not have a population of African Americans, that's for sure. But boy, did we want to be just like them. I want to be just like Mike, as they say. Moving into the 2000s, these names, they don't even need to be mentioned because everyone was listening to them. So like I said, Dr. Dre, Eminem, you know, who's probably the biggest rapper worldwide in terms of what he's done and how popular his name is. Busta Rhymes, Exhibit. I'm just moving down my list here. These were kind of, let's not forget the Wu-Tang Clan. They were huge. And, you know, these guys took over the 2000s. To today's style of hip-hop, I'm a big fan of Schoolboy Q. I think he's very cool. Believe it or not, he's an avid golfer, and he actually wanted to play in the NFL. He was a huge Oakland Raiders fan. Yeah, he's got that distinctive style with his bucket cap. I think he's pretty cool. I like his lyrics. I like his beats. And I'm also a fan of A$AP Rocky. And, you know, they've got A$AP Mob and A$AP Ferg. But the transition for me in watching that hip-hop style change is very much so that the focus has been on video clips. And you start one track and then they bring you down with this one lot of beats, and then it switches, and Kendrick Lamar does this as well, and then it goes into another sort of style. So you're basically getting a little two-part episode of a video clip that starts off with one beat and then can switch into another. And that transition's been pretty popular, very cool. It's aesthetically pleasing to your eyes as well as your ears. And now I'm going to talk about this one guy, and how it all happened for me was a good friend of mine by the name of T-Bor, who we used to rave together. We used to go to dance parties. And him and I would always listen to hip-hop during the week, and we'd go to our rave parties on the weekends and listen to techno. T-Bor goes, "You got to listen to this guy. He's probably the most underground rapper that you'll ever hear. He's got the sickest beats." And he was 100% correct. And he gave me, back then, my first taste of Kool Keith. And it was Black Elvis. The album was Black Elvis. As soon as I heard Kool Keith, as soon as I started listening to these beats and the lyrics, and then I got Dr. Doom, and then I started working out, there's another album called Matthew, and these were like comic books. Like, you know, this is the same guy, Kool Keith, but he's these other people, his alter egos, which were reflected to his albums. Man, no one is as cool, pardon the pun, as Kool Keith. And he's been around, then when I did my research, he's been around for ages, going all the way back to Ultramagnetic MCs with the same era as Run DMC and Public Enemy. And I was like, you know, there was always something new about Kool Keith. It's like, what's he doing now? And what album's this? You know, and since the evolution of technology and social media and YouTube, you just never know what to expect. But every time I listen to something from Kool Keith, it's fresh, the beats are dope, the lyrics are like, what? What did he just say? How did he say that? And even some of his freestyles that you can look up on YouTube with Exhibit and stuff like that, he's next level. This is a guy that's got a distinctive voice and amazing abilities to produce, and is just being original and kept it real from day one to where we are right now. Which leads me into my interview with the one and only Kool Keith. Alright, now before I release the exclusive new track, Autographs, by Kool Keith and Termanology, let's get into this interview. So he's joining us from his studio in New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, Kool Keith.
Yeah! For the 2000. Black Elvis.
Yo, what's up, Matty? This is Kool Keith. Thanks for having me on your show to tell the best truth I can tell you. Otherwise, you know, you'll get more lies.
Keith, you've been a part of hip-hop since the early days. What's the biggest change you've seen in the rap industry over the years?
Yeah, in hip hop, it's evolved in some sort, but the biggest change, I've seen a lot of people trying to rewrite hip hop, change it around too much, and everybody's like, you know, they don't want to keep rap straight how it came out from the Bronx and stuff. Everybody's trying to rewrite it now in their own state of mind. People want to claim it's from here and there, and they want to take people out, and some people want to put new people in just for publicity and propaganda. So it's not as straight and honest as it should be right now. It's like everybody's changing it in their own form, and that's a problem that we have. Like, people want to erase history because of the value of different artists now and then and before and after. So, we're going through changes because people want to make fast money, books, sell books, all kinds of stuff, documentaries and stuff. So everybody want to change rap and take different things out of it and rip pages. Like people want to rip different chapters out the Bible. So that's what we got now going on. And that's a big change. And then, like you said, even with the music, the art form is totally different with the artists. And, sounds was more harder and ruggeder. And now it's getting kind of soft with different cultures taking over. We need a lot of more soul education in music, which we don't have anymore. So that's a big thing too, that that we lost a lot of real strong stability in rap.
How have you managed to keep your sound so fresh and original over the years? And what do you think it is about your production and approach to crafting beats that gives them that unique groove and energy that really connects with your listeners?
Yeah, I make distinctive beats. I like to make, kind of beats that match my inner self, a distinctive sound. Kind of like when, Ultra came out, we had our sound, and when I came out, I had my sound. A lot of people, I try other beats and stuff, which is not a problem, but I like making my own beats. I think, because sometimes I have the background that I want to sound on, that I want to sound like myself on. I think me making beats for myself, sometimes I fit a better shoe. Sometimes people make beats, but they're not really for you. Because the producer is not really hearing what you're going through. It's like if you fly to another state and then you try to do a beat with somebody else, they're having fun in their life. They don't know the tempo of the artist. Sometimes you could be coming from more of a dark environment. They just want to throw a beat at you, but that beat doesn't match the environment that you came out of. So that's what a lot of people don't understand. That's where the soul and funk comes in, and what you go through. Some people make more harder beats from harder environments. Some people live in soft environments. They might live by the beach and the water's blowing. That beat might not fit a person that's coming from a more harder environment. He might be going through different things in his mind with his family, his whatever. He's living in a different kind of condition. Some people want to give a person a beat and they live in a garden or something. They look out the window at a garden and stuff. So those beats sometimes don't match a lot of artists. Sometimes artists got to have beats that match them, basically. They don't take time to take beats. Then look at artists. There's a lot of artists that rap now, they just get with the producer for the fame and the producer for the name, but sometimes the beats don't match that artist, and the producer don't know the whole level of the artist, and a lot of these artists, they could be in front of a lot of beats that really project them more, but they don't, because they going by names and producers and whoever's hot right now and all that, and whoever was hot, or if they're an established producer that was a long time ago popular, they want to have, they want to jump on that person because they want to just say they work with that person. That's all.
Out of all the well-known rappers you've worked with, obviously you've worked with a lot like Ice-T. Who have you enjoyed collaborating with the most?
Yeah, I enjoy working with some rappers. Even Ice, I worked with Ice on a lot of things before. We come in the studio, we have fun, and he gets on some stuff. And, I like that he takes challenges and rap on beats. And, people put people in perspective by their time in the music industry. They might say the person is not polished or finished, but, I think a lot of rappers, age-wise, got more experience with wordplay and tricks and stuff like that. Sometimes it's not about rappers and their time periods. I think a lot of rappers just, feel that they can rap good, or they'll rap with somebody that's hot on a level just to get that quick fame. But I think some rappers feel they can rap fast or say words fast or rap with somebody that rap fast. But to me, I think they camouflage themselves rapping fast instead of rapping with skills. So a lot of people run to certain artists that may have a certain skill, but they don't have a skill like that person, but they rap with that person. So the fan base can say, oh, he rap with that person, so he's automatically good, he got skill. No, that's not the purpose. If you listen to some rappers, you be like, okay, they may collab with somebody that's 10 times better than them, but with the propaganda, music industry, and record companies, they rap with somebody to make themselves seem like they better at that rap style as the person that perfected the rap style. So you got a lot of people that jump on bandwagons and stuff like that, and to make themselves seem like a supreme, better rapper, but that's not the case. It's about the experience to me, basically.
Can you tell us the story of how you ended up working with Keith Flint from the Prodigy, and what was it like getting a reaction from that dance and rave scene at the time?
I think the Prodigy, me working with the Prodigy was a great thing. I mean, it was very, very fun working with those guys. And Keith, I met Keith through, I don't know, it's weird how I met Keith and, Liam and, or it's just that they called me and they wanted me to get on their record and stuff like that. And I was kind of the first guy to be invited on different kinds of alternative music, rave music, and high techno bands and stuff. I mean, there was a great group. The album I was on, 2 albums with them, which both albums went 3 times platinum. I think me working with them was opening to me opening doors for other rappers to try new things. I mean, they were great. Me writing to that stuff, it just fit perfectly. And, I had a couple shows with them, which was some of my best shows of me going out with them, having fun, the after party in their dressing room. And, I have nothing but love for the Prodigy band. And, they was on Maverick. And that was a great opportunity for me, basically.
Out of all your alter egos, which make you so entertaining, like comic books, which one was your favorite? Was it Black Elvis, Dr. Doom? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, out of my alter egos, I mean, I like everybody. Dr. Octagon, Black Elvis, Kool Keith, Black Elvis. I mean, like all my records, people, sometimes I got 2 types of fans. You got a fan that lock into one guy or something. They might be into one particular guy of an album or concept. But I like all the concepts I do. It's like all movies, you like all the movies. Me, I don't get into just one record and then I fall in love with the catalog from that one concept record. You know, it's all the albums people need to learn about. And it's none better than the other. I mean, that's just one had a different concept than the other one. One had a different concept. But it's not for people to have favoritism over one or the other. I mean, I like all my records. All my records are like a family. Like, if you have a family, you don't dislike your son. You don't dislike the brother. You don't dislike a sister. That's like you saying, well, you know, if you have a big family, I don't like Jenny, but I like Bob, but I like Marvin more, and I hate Sally. But that's what they do with the records. They have personal feelings towards each record, so people get personal and start going, well, why don't you do that record again? Why don't you make, you know, you got some people that can't let go Dr. Octagon, but that's not my fault. I like records, you know, every other record. I like all the records. Sometimes I listen to Ultramagnetic, I listen to Black Elvis, I listen to Matthew, I listen to, you know, any album I was on, Spank Master. I listen to all the albums, you know, as brothers and sisters. I don't have no one favoritism, and it's not the concept, it's not the production, it's not like, oh, when he did that record, he was using this and that, and he had this producer and that. And some people get personal with producers, like, yeah, you know, I like that one because that producer was on it, and, you know, it's no favoritism with me. I mean, I like all the records. It's like when people take their family out, they all like everybody. You know, you go to family reunion, you like everybody. You don't go like, you know, I don't like my grandma, my uncle, because they, you know, they didn't have the producers that album had. You know, some people get kind of pathetically wrapped up into like one project from another. You like, if you're gonna follow the artist, you like all the records he does. Like, you don't get personal. Like, and that's one thing too. Sometimes I have an unpersonal fan base and a personal fan base. Some people come to me with every album I did, and then you have some people that might have a few different records. But you know, that's not the important thing about me. I like all the records.
Keith, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I still can't believe that you've given us the exclusive to your new track, Autographs. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the new track, Autographs, by Kool Keith and Termanology. Let's go.
What we doing? We signing autographs. 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 We signing lyrics, interior decorator. Your top 10 complain, wanna be trained at Camp David. Looking off the top of the Empire State Building, it's hard to explain it. Rappers, girls soaking wet, they wanna get under my umbrella when it's raining. Don't tease on IG, get on your knees, I make her famous. Periodically change up scale, put a tuxedo on and watch the All-Star game in the stock exchange. Link around my ankles, me and your socks ain't the same. I specialize in big dog syndrome, walking the basketball court with Caitlin Clark, saying, Keith, I'm going through labor pain. Rap so whack, I got dementia. I can't remember who hip-hop, drill, or trap, who battled anywhere in the rap game. I'm usually checking the back of fine girls' drawers for skid marks and piss stains. Fuck comedians and podcasters, I mastered doing magic in Las Vegas. I'm a resident like David Blaine. I paid for the debate campaign. Kamala and Trump owe me money. Waffle House cooked my eggs upside down real sunny. Everybody posing with 500K cash for $300. That's that Hollywood and Party City fake money. They just like that guy on Instagram and Dubai, counterfeit billion cash dummy. WBA, WBB, and WBC. 3 division belts around my waist. They trying so hard to take them from me. We signing autographs. We signing autographs.
All day, every day.
We signing autographs.
You know what it is?
We signing autographs.
I've been around the world, signed a lot of autographs. Started Jack on with my favorite team in my car the years. Heard the tape, you drop it, flop, it was hard to hear. Harley Davidson, black shades, I just bought a pair. My campaign is I don't rap for champagne. LeBron James, walk around with a Burberry bag and ball mean. You hate me, cause your wifey want an autograph. You look in her eyes, you can tell she want more than that. I get all sort of cash, you get extorted fast. Bring it to your front door fast, we doing DoorDash. Splash, my hotel is an ocean front. While I'm rolling, run, slating up golden blunts. I ain't paying nothing to nobody to open up. I'd rather pour 151 all in the open cut. I grab a hopeless slut, leave her with a swollen gut, broken butt, have her drinking nuts till she throwing up. Straight porno flicks, you know S&M. Think your boy paying for that cat, better guess again. I ain't got no friends, I got associates. Think they masters of the craft, but don't got they associates. They must be on opiates and smoking shit. Thinking they can fuck with the go to this. It's over, bitch. Roll up the pit fast while we count the cash. And pass me that Sharpie so I can sign the autograph.
We signing autographs. We signing autographs. We signing autographs. We signing autographs. We signing.
All right, that's pretty cool. Kool Keith and Termanology. Now I think it's time for me to welcome Melbourne's #1 up-and-coming artist and good friend of mine, Eloquor, aka Donnie Pelshurtzy. Welcome to the Wildcard Draw. How are you, Donnie?
Good, Matt. It's really nice to see you. It's been ages, and really appreciate you having me on the show. To be on a show with Kool Keith as well. That's fantastic. Thank you, bro.
Before we get into it, you actually were a warm-up for Kool Keith in Melbourne at one of his shows. Is that correct?
Yeah. I supported him, I reckon, 10 years ago or something like that at the ESPY. It was at the ESPY.
Yeah,
It was
awesome.
sick. Oh, it was sick. It was so cool. It was at the front bar of the ESPY there. It's now, it's been renovated, so it's not the same. The front bar at the ESPY used to be like, a bit gritty, bit grungy, but so cool. The sound was cool. You were right there, next to the bar, because the sort of bar came around, and there's this little corner stage, and you could just rock the whole pub there from that little spot. It was sick. It was the best. It was so cool, man. And I got to meet Kool Keith, and he's a funny guy. He's cool.
Yeah. The show I saw him at, he came out on stage with a bucket of KFC chicken, and then as he was taking a few bites, he started throwing the chicken at the audience. So he's unpredictable, and certainly is captivating with that originality. But you've got some originality too, my friend. We'll go back to the start of the show, which I kind of talked about where we came from, and for all our listeners out there, Donnie and I both went to De La Salle College, Malvern, which is a Roman Catholic boys' school in Malvern here in Melbourne. We sort of, I touched on 1994, which was when we were in year 9, I think. So, tell us about what it was like for you, Donnie, going back from then to how it's inspired you to where you are now, and sort of what sort of transpired around that time frame for all of us to get this understanding and culture of rap and hip hop here in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, well, actually, in grade 5, do you remember Jason Maxwell?
I do.
You remember Jason? Jason gave me a Eazy-E tape in grade 5, and that was one of my first tastes of hip hop, and I was just like, "What the fuck is this? This is sick!" It was something new, you know. I was hooked, and so from there, I guess it all started from there, and it was the early 90s, man. Hip hop was just starting to bubble. My family took me to LA as well, and I got to be in LA in like 92, something like that. And it was sick. I remember everything was like, Raiders. I mean, I got my Raiders hats, like Raiders jackets and baseball caps. Jordan 6s just came out. They just dropped. And I remember being in LA and being like, this is fucking sick. I loved it, and Michael Jordan was our hero back then. Everything was Michael Jordan, and he was just the king of everything.
Yeah.
Mike
Yeah.
Tyson was the evil menace in the
Yeah.
ring, smashing everyone's head in, and you had all this sick new music coming out. You had Francis Raffo, who we went to school with, rocking his baseball cap. We all had our baseball caps up like this. Remember that?
The bomber. Yep.
Yeah, they like that. And then you'd put like we put like Band-Aids at the back of this
to tighten them up.
That's to make them look sick. You'd put like Mickey Mouse Band-Aids, like those Band-Aids with things. You put them on there, and then you wear your hat like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'd have like a skivvy with your cross colours or your clue.
Yeah.
And scarves. We all had scarves. Country road jumpers. Remember those old country road jumpers?
Country road. Julian Baring. Yeah.
They were like the shit. Yeah.
It's funny because it was Stephen Giblett's older brother Adrian that gave me my NWA tape, which was around 1990. It's funny you said that, and then I said that earlier in the show. So, and I've touched on that quite a lot, and I just love hearing that we basically were the same upbringing. But Donnie, what about what's your perspective of the hip hop scene here in Australia? And we've got these weird accents that are, I don't even know how to describe our accent. I'm sure Keith will be looking at us going, okay, like trying to understand our slang. But what gives us this distinctive sound here in Melbourne and Australia?
Yeah, so I mean, firstly, for me, what I think hip hop is all about representing where you're from.
Yeah.
Right. So, and to really represent where you're from, I think you need to speak in your accent. That is being true, because it's all about being real, and all about being real to who you are and where you're from. So I think that is why it's so important to rap in your accent, the way you talk. That is my perspective. It's not everyone's perspective. When hip hop first came to Australia, a lot of people were rapping in American accents, and then it started to change. So there were artists like back in the day, the first artist, a good friend of mine, Reason. He was the first guy signed to Obese Records. Reason was rapping in an Aussie accent. He had another person that inspired me, Bias B, who was his hype man back then, and they were rapping in Aussie accents. And at the start, I found it really jarring listening to the Aussie accent over beats, and I was like, oh fuck, man, what is this? Talking about Barbies and sinking beers and whatever, like in an Aussie accent, and I was like, I don't know, man. And then I grew to love it. I grew to love it because it's us. Yeah. It's unique to us. It's who we are, and it's representing us as real and as raw as we can be. I think that's why it's so cool.
And I guess most successful people in any sort of art or craft are when they're actually being themselves, other than actors, of course. But what about, who was it that inspired you, Donnie, when it came to that sort of era of hip hop that sort of inspired you so much to do what you do now?
Yep. Well, I reckon people, someone like Pegs would have been. So Pegs was bought Obese Records in Paran. Yep. So in Izzard Street, there was a little shop. First, it was like Obese Records, and I think Ollie Bobbitt owned it first.
Yeah.
And God bless, rest in peace, Ollie. He passed away, a little while ago.
Yep.
And then a guy called Shaz bought it, and then Pegs bought it, and then Pegs made it into a label, and it became Obese Records, and then he signed artists like Hilltop Hoods, Bliss and Esso, Mantra, Illy, a lot of these big artists, Funkors. He signed all these big artists, and then the Melbourne scene was just bubbling. It was, rap was here, like Rap for Us was here, and I remember going to the first Obese Records, one of their first block parties at the Corner Hotel, and Hilltop Hoods were there, you know, Pegs was there, and Muff and Plutonic, and I was just, I don't think they were together at the time. I think it was just Muff, but Pluto, I can't remember. But anyway, I just loved it, man. It was like my city rapping, you know, and where I grew up in Richmond, it was quite an interesting time, and you actually mentioned. I remember we were hanging out quite a bit at that time, and I had my Richmond friends, and then I had my DLR friends, and my Richmond friends, it was all graph. They were getting on the smack. It was smashing grabs.
Yeah.
It was a lot of, you know, that's, you know, like youth crime. That were my friends, you know. And it was the rave world, and then I had my sort of graph crime world, and then and it just when I heard Aussie rap, it just sort of sounded like my city was rapping to me all about the stories that I saw and grew up with, and I'm like, oh fuck, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that. And then I didn't have any friends in the rap scene, so I started going to Obese Records, just hanging out there by myself. I just rock up and just stand there. I was very awkward. And I'd just stand there and be like, I just wanted to be around it. You know, I didn't know anyone. I just wanted to be around it. And then you know, you start going to the shop a few times and you say g'day. And then you might say, how's your weekend? And then slowly get to know people. Then I'd just go to gigs anywhere, Matt. Anywhere. Frankston, the city, fucking wherever. I'd go to Collingwood, and I'd go out to Brunswick. I'd go to, you know, wherever there was an Aussie hip hop gig, I'd get in the car and go by myself. So I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
But I just wanted it so bad. I wanted to be part of this thing, this voice, this art form. It was just something in me that wanted to be part of it. So I'm like, I want to be fucking part of that thing. So and then you start going to gigs, and you go to the record stores and all that, and then you meet people, and then you meet a producer, and you're like, oh, have you got a beat? And then someone tells you about a studio. Then you go to the studio, and then next thing you record your first song, and then you start learning how to make beats, and you start learning how to record. And then I bought my sound cards, my mic, and you know, everything, and started to just build it. And you know, from there, it was like a guy called Swanee was having gigs in Frankston. Swanee's like, one of my mates, Strike One, he's like, oh, Swanee, my mate Donnie wants to do a set. And we're going back 20 years sort of thing. And he's my mate Donnie wants to do a set. And he's like, oh yeah, where's Donnie? So he goes, oh, you want to do a set, do you, bud? I'm like, yeah, man. And he goes, all right, I'll give you 10 minutes at the start of the next show next month. How about that? You can open, but it's like 8:30 you're on. And I'm like, done, I'll take it. And then I just fucking did 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes somewhere else, and then somewhere else, and then all of a sudden I wasn't the opening act, I was the second act. And it's so funny when you want something so badly, you put everything else to the side. I put my family, my missus, my work, everything was second. Number one was rap, hip hop rap. I want to rap. I want to be part of this scene, this thing. I want to be part of it. I want to be a well-known Aussie fucking hip hop rapper. That's what I want. I just want to be known. I want to fucking make songs. That's who I want to be. And, you know, guys at our school were going to, you know, uni and all this, and I wanted to be
doctors, lawyers. Johnny's a rapper? What the fuck? Yeah.
And, like, bro, it's like, I know I'm not the best rapper. I know I'm not the best wordsmith. I know I'm not the most clever at multi-syllables and you know, and putting together concepts and wordplay. I'm cool with that. That's okay. Because to me, I just love this fucking art form. You know, it's like, it's the poetry, you're writing it, right? And then you're creating these beats, or someone gives you a beat that they created, and then that's pretty much what inspired me, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are, Donny. Here we are in our middle age, and I'm a podcaster and you're a rapper. This is great.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's what happens when you do theatre in year 12.
I was going to say, at least our theatre studies teacher would be proud of us. Donny, where it's going to lead me next is that we're going to play one of your tracks, and that's how we're going to end this episode. Can you just tell me, obviously, the title of the track, what inspired you to write it? I've obviously heard it. I think the lyrics are absolutely fantastic and true to your word and true to that Melbourne scene and vibe, 100%. And I can't wait for our viewers to listen to it as well. But can you tell us a little bit about it and why you wrote it?
Yeah, we're talking about fun and games, right?
Fun and games.
Fun and games. Oh, you know what, man? Like, I work with a really awesome producer called 7-6. He's one of my best mates, and Seven just makes these deep beats. Like, he puts his soul into these beats. It's not for him. It's not just like, oh yeah, I'll put some drums together and a sample. Like, he's really like precious about them. Like, he puts everything into these pieces of music, and he's proud of them. And when you hear, sometimes you hear one and you just go, oh, that is what I need. Oh my God, I got to write this to it. This is what I need to write. It's like an image, Matt. I get an image, right? And a lot of artists do. And the image I got from that beat was like a sad clown in a big circus tent. The audience has gone home. There's a little swing, and he's swinging by himself in this empty tent, and the rain's pouring, and there's a leak in the tent, and there's a bit of the rain's dripping on him, and he spent all his money, and he's swinging, and that is with one little light there, one little light glowing, and he's by himself swinging. And that's the image I got from the beat, and then I wrote it. So basically, that beat put this image in my head of a sad, lonely clown that has left. You know, everyone's left the circus for the night, and he's sad, and he's on a little swing in the middle of this circus tent with the empty seats. No one's there. It's raining. It's dripping through the tent. It's falling on him. He's got a little whiskey there. He's having a little nip of whiskey, and he's just swinging by himself in the old circus tent. And that image wrote the song.
Yeah, okay. And the lyrics, where did they come from you? Is there anything that are you reflecting?
Everything's true. Everything's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know, I've been thinking too much in the wrong way, too much time on the things that I can't change. Green-eyed monsters mess with my conscience. Love when they hate, it makes me obnoxious. You know, it was just
Love
the truth.
Before we go to this track, Donny, what's next for you, and what is your ultimate goal?
Yeah, ultimate goal. Well, what's next for me is I did a dance track with Rambo, Ramdog, Ramsey DeMarco, Each Other Music. Did a track with him. Dance. Haven't done a dance track before, and it's like a house track. So that's coming out in a few days. So that's cool. I've just recorded a video with my mate Jace Shem Beatheads, who's an old school Melbourne producer rapper. So we just put out a track. We just recorded a track, shot a video that's coming out in a week. So new track there, and 7-6 and I are working on more music at the moment, and we've got a couple of absolute stomper rappers on this next project. Absolute rippers.
Sounds fantastic. Donny, I'm going to sign out from the show now, and I just want to say a massive thank you for being a part of it. And I know what it's like when we've got to, coordinate between each other and going from New York to Melbourne, and with your busy schedule, and we're both working, we've both got kids. So Donnie, I want to say a big thank you, and we're going to sign out for the end of episode 2 of the Wildcard podcast. But Donnie, take us out with this track, and a big thank you from myself.
Thanks, Matt. So this is Eloquor and 7-6 Fun and Games.
Peace. Thanks, Donnie.
Peace. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Matt.
Cheers.
I've been thinking too much in the wrong way. Too much time on the things that I can't change. Green-eyed monsters mess with my conscience. They love when I hate, makes me obnoxious. I probably need help, but I'm too proud. So I punch bags, let loose, gotta get it out. Got a big mouth sometimes, hurt a few friends, said a few white lies. Great job, Donnie, you dumbass, stop being a douche. Pull your fucking head in. Ease up, dude, just breathe. Find a little peace, put down the weed. Dan Murphy's not what you need. Remember as a kid you would fish, both feet hung off the side of a pier with an ugly stick and an old egg beater. Sunshine waves was all I ever needed. I'm damned if I'm wrong or right. Same thought on my mind all night. I can't sleep, so drained. It's all part of the fun and games. I'm damned if I'm wrong or right. Same thought on my mind all night. I can't sleep, so drained. It's all part of the fun and games. I keep running from a feeling. It's probably why I'm still drinking. It's probably why I'm chopping up another nugget, convincing myself it's just cause I love it. My mind got a numb it, drifting a carefree current. I see you junkies and know why you done it. It's an express, only takes a minute. Back to the source, hey, can I get a ticket going first class? Cause I'm a fucking king, but it hurts. Cause none of this is real. All I really want is a clear mind and a bit of peace and a glass of wine and a fat scoop and a mint chick and a worldwide #1 banger with my mate 7-6 on the beat, so we can tour the world and get filthy rich. I'm damned if I'm wrong or right. Same thought on my mind all night. I can't sleep, so drained. It's all part of the fun and games. I'm damned if I'm wrong or right. Same thought on my mind all night. I can't